You're listening to Bring Me the Axe. I'm Brian White, and one half of this morbid equation, and I'm joined by my co-host and brother, Dave White. Hey, Dave, how you doing over there?
Thank you for asking. I'm okay. You know, it occurred to me today. It is the end of summer. The end of summer is upon us, and I feel like I didn't do much summer this summer.
I don't do much summer ever. I fucking hate summer.
You know, I feel like I should. It's one of those things where I always feel like I should do stuff, but
it's too hot. It's too fucking hot.
Well, I know, but you know, then the winter comes, and as the older I get, the worse my body likes winter.
and yet,
well,
you're planning on heading north, where it is deadly up there.
If those bastards will let me in. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I should have done more stuff. You know, gone places.
I get you. It was brutal. It sucked. I do not care for summer. You know me. I am an autumn boy.
Well, unfortunately, that's 2 months out of the year. If
no.
that. If
and
you're
then
lucky.
I spend the rest of the year going, bring it back.
Well, what can you do? You know.
I know. You know what I did today? It's something very relevant to tonight's episode.
Did you something about the plague?
No. I
Vampires?
auditioned for a production of Dracula.
I'm sorry. Could you say that again one more time?
You heard me right. I auditioned for a production of Dracula. It's a radio play production, so it's one of those things where people come into a theater where we do a radio play version of it.
And where? Who? I have a lot of questions. Where is this being performed?
About a town over. They got a nice little theater over there. My children perform in their plays throughout the year, and I was challenged to take this on. So I went over and I read for the parts of Dracula and Van Helsing.
Now, when you say challenged, do you mean like like in tap dancing, challenge?
No, it wasn't like that. It wasn't like that. It was more like I was slapped with a white glove.
It was an act off.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean,
I'll find out tomorrow if I get a part.
I mean, the way you said it, you were like, I auditioned for television acting. They say no. Well, that's something. I mean, I don't know that I would go and see it, but I would certainly listen to it if it's available to listen to.
I hope they do. I wonder if they'll do that, or if it's just going to be like one of those things where you just, you gotta be there.
Now, which Dracula? Are we like?
It's okay. So it's the Universal Dracula.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you'd be as silly as you want to be.
Yeah. So when I did it, I did it I did a little Lugosi. Not over the top. I was measured. I felt I was pretty good about it.
It would have been better if they did Jess Franco's Dracula. Real sexy community theater.
Gotta find out how to make that really sexy on the radio.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I'm gonna crack a little cheer wine here.
Oh,
there it is.
Gross.
Yeah.
Well, that's disgusting. Everything that you just did is disgusting.
I'm going on and on about like, oh man, these guys got to sponsor us, you cowards. But I give them free advertising on every episode anyways. So why would you?
Well, I refer to them as toilet wine. So I am undermining that every single time. So suck it, cheer wine. Either give us your money or deal with it.
Oh, yeah. So we practically grew up in neighborhood video stores, and the steady diet of utter garbage those shops provided us with continues unabated to this day. There's no one else I enjoy chopping it up with more about trashy movies than Dave. Just before we get into it, here's a little housekeeping. If you want to keep up with us between episodes, you can also find us on Instagram at Bring Me the Axe Pod. Dave's over there at that Queer Wolf.
Mm-hmm.
Give us a follow. You keep up on all the happenings.
You could.
I mean, that's the incentive.
There's not much happening these days, so.
No, I'm gearing up for haunt season, so you get to see my new costume, my new character. It's fucking rad. I cannot wait to bust that shit out.
I just keep blowing money on art. So you can all look at that.
Yep. And if you don't know, we have another show called 99 Cent Rental where we cover all manner of video store madness in the weeks when Bring the Axes Off. Our latest episode covering the utterly silly made-for-TV movie, This House Possessed, is out now.
Yeah, it's a fucking classic of a movie.
Sensitive, you're not.
It's Slim Pickens' finest role. I mean, other than being a rodeo clown.
Yeah. That's out now. We'll be back next week with a look at the 80s ghost car movie, The Wraith. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. And you can also contact us directly at bringmethexpod@gmail.com with any questions, comments, or suggestions. Do let us know if there's a movie that you love, would like to hear us give the business. We are packing our schedule up for the next year. We got a couple of listener requests in there so far.
Yeah.
So We'll point it out when we get there.
I mean, I'm going to make you watch Dirty Dancing, and that's all there is to it.
And if you'd like to support us on Patreon, you could look us up over there at patreon.com/bringmetheaxpod. There's a couple of tiers you can join there. Subscribers at the $5 a month tier can look forward to our bi-weekly X-Files rewatch pod. Do you think I'm spooky? We are almost done with season 1. One episode to go. The one that we got out right now. Oof.
Boy.
We struggled. But we made it. We made it through Roland.
It's the 90s-est episode.
My God. Yep. And there's also our monthly Bring Me the Axe Millennium Edition, which is a bonus episode in which we explore a modern horror movie as well. We've got a look at 2008's Pontypool. And in a few days, we're looking at Rob Eggers' Nosferatu to kind of complement this episode. Yeah.
Compliment.
Huh.
I don't think they go together very well, but sure, why not?
Compliment is not the word I'd use. There's also my bi-weekly DJ show, Radio Free Haddonfield, in the weeks when Do You Think I'm Spooky is off. You can expect a surprising mixtape of everything from rock to disco to punk over there. And starting right now, as you listen to these words, we're giving away a month of free Patreon to 10 people.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. Get in there, try it out. Listen to everything that you can inside of a month. Decide the sort of thing you want to keep up with.
Did you like Rob Eggers' Nosferatu? Maybe listen to us not like it.
Yep. Between the 3 bonus shows, there's like over 60 hours of content right now. So click the link in the show notes for your free month. Try it out. Yep. And all Patreon subscribers, even the free tier, get access to our Discord server. Paying members get access to additional channels, voice and video chat, and the watch parties option. We watched Nosferatu, the one that we were talking about, Nosferatu the Vampyre, 1979, the one that we were talking about tonight. On Friday, we do it. We get ahead of every movie that we do on Monday. We watch it on Friday. It's fun. You should join us, is what I'm saying. So once again, that's patreon.com/bringmetheaxepod. And lastly, if you like what you hear, you can subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts. We're on YouTube now. Search us by name and subscribe if you prefer to consume your podcast that way. And you'd be doing us a favor by leaving us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. So I don't know what you're waiting for.
Yeah. Well, and hey, if you don't know what to say, you want to say something, but you don't know what to say. Yeah, you could tell me who your favorite Dracula is. How about that?
You got a lot to choose from. I guarantee at least one person's going to say Frank Langella.
Okay, I'm going to say John Carradine. my favorite Dracula.
Yep. And if you listen on YouTube, do us a favor. Give the episode a like, leave a comment. We love hearing from you guys. Just want to get that all out of the way right at the top of the show because, hey, Dave.
Yes.
Who's this over here?
We have a guest, but not just any guest. He is a film programmer from my theater of choice, Coolidge Corner Theater here in Boston, and a man responsible for many of the cool and awesome genre film events that happen in and around this city. It is Mark Anastasio.
Hey, Mark, how you doing?
Hey, Brian. Hey, Dave. Thanks for having me.
This is going to be great. This is going to be great. We threw a lot of options your way, and we landed on Nosferatu. Are you a fan of this movie?
I enjoy this movie very much. I actually have it on our October calendar as part of a program called Art House of Horror. So we're bringing it back. I think it's the first time I'll have played it in prime time in like 10 or 15 years, honestly. So I'm excited to have Nosferatu back at the Coolidge, and it was nice to have a reason to revisit it for you guys.
Oh, it's great. It's such a good movie. I just want to, I'm a spoiler. We're getting right ahead of it. I think this is going to be one of our Love Fest episodes. Like yep. I am enthusiastically in favor of this film. It is outstanding.
Did you guys see the new Eggers Nosferatu in theaters when it came out?
No. Dave, did you?
No, I don't care for his films very much. At least not the ones that I've seen. So no, I saw it on video on demand.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like there are a lot of parallels to look into between Robert Eggers and Werner Herzog as filmmakers. I bet these guys would really dig each other. The two of them digging into this title in particular, I think, says a lot about who they are as directors. But we can talk. You guys can talk about that next week, maybe.
Yep. So, yeah, let's run the trailer here. This is fun. Here we go.
night, all sorts of evil spirits are set loose. People disappear without a trace.
Last night, after a tiresome journey, I finally reached my destination, the castle of Count Dracula.
The ship seems burdened with a curse. One sailor and our cook have disappeared without a trace.
Nosferatu the Vampyre, coming from 20th Century Fox. Nosferatu the Vampyre, a film unlike any Dracula film ever made. Nosferatu the Vampyre.
Ooh, I love that key art, man.
Pretty good. Spooky, scary.
Spooky, gets the point across.
Yeah, it's a good trailer. We have that original one sheet of Nosferatu hangs in our offices here at the Coolidge.
Oh God, I would love to own one of those, man. Oh, it's such a cool poster.
Found it in the archives, and we had it framed and stuck it up on the wall. It's fun to see it every day.
You just had one in the theater?
Yeah, we've got an extensive poster collection in the basement of this place. Well, I shouldn't say where it is, but deep in the crypt of the Coolidge. So that means that it played here in its original theatrical run back in 1979, which is
so you guys actually are in the business of preserving this stuff.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I shouldn't be surprised by that. I mean,
hang out.
It's kind of your mission.
Yeah, we like to hang on to as many original one-sheet posters for films. We have a large 35 millimeter trailer archive, a pretty big collection of 16 millimeter films, and then just a handful of 35 millimeter prints. It's
no kidding.
Yeah.
Do you lease them from somewhere?
No, this is all stuff that we've just held on to. The film prints are things that I've purchased for the theater over the years. The 16 millimeter just has kind of always lived here for as long as I've been here, and I've been at the theater. I'm at 19 years, which is crazy.
That's awesome. Yeah, a friend of mine was a projectionist, but at a local movie theater, and I'd always ask him about that. I was like, "What do you guys do with this stuff when you're done?" He's like, "We usually just trailers and stuff just go in the garbage. We throw the posters away." I'm like, "Are you kidding me?"
Yeah, a lot of places do, but we've got it all alphabetized and archived, and I'm so glad that we hung on to it, because especially around October, the 35 millimeter trailers, I like to run as many original trailers as I can before a lot of our midnight movies and special event programming. So it's cool to go in there and look things up and pull cool horror trailers that go along with whatever the feature film playing that weekend is. It's still it's the more fun part of the job, for sure.
That's awesome. Yeah. So let's talk turkey on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
The year was 1979.
No, heard of it.
Year of our Lord. So here were some other vampire movies that were released in 1979. Dracula, starring Frank Langella.
Boo. Oh, God.
That was the first version of Dracula I ever saw.
That's sad.
And I'm going to tell you what, I liked it. I haven't seen it. I don't think I've seen it since then, though. Not going to go out of my way when I have so many much better options to go with. Also in 1979, Fascination, Jean Rollin movie.
Okay, I like that one.
Yeah, that's a good one. Good one. How do you feel about Thirst?
I fucking love that movie.
That movie is great, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Was it Umbrella? Did they put that out recently? Or at least in the last couple of years?
Indicator.
Or Indicator did that. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that one's wild. I saw that one on TV also when I was quite young. Also in 1979, Salem's Lot. Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. And rounding it out, George Kennedy in Love at First Bite.
Dear God. You also forgot a movie called Dracula Blows His Cool.
I almost put that one on the list.
Which I think is a fantastic title.
There was another one. 79 was a big year for vampire movies.
Yep, Nocturna.
Yep, that was the one that I was thinking of. It had a cool title. I know nothing about that one, though.
Never seen it.
Dracula Blows His Cool.
So let's see. Cast and crew. Our director is Werner Herzog, a truly weird and mystical director that I love. He once publicly cooked and ate a shoe after losing a bet with Errol Morse.
Yeah, I'm actually thinking about playing it on Tuesday. On Tuesday, our cemetery cinema screening is Gates of Heaven. The Errol.
Okay. That would be perfect. That would be perfect. Yeah.
So I'm mulling it over as to whether or not it would be appropriate to show that less blank horror film of Werner eating his shoe. Errol Morris claims that he doesn't know, he can't recall Werner making that bet with him, that if he ever completed Gates of Heaven, that he would eat his shoe.
I have seen the footage of Herzog eating the shoe. It is disgusting.
Yeah.
And so I am willing to bet that this was maybe it just did not occupy the same sort of space in Morris's head.
Yeah, I don't
that
think
it did in Herzog's.
What, you think like he finds himself in situations like this a lot, and so he just couldn't.
He just gets lost in all the weird the weird bets that Morris finds himself having.
Herzog ate it in front of a live audience at an auditorium at USC Film School. And he used it as a motivation for upcoming or aspiring filmmakers that no one should ever tell them that they can't do something or that anything is impossible. So this was a motivational moment for him, consuming a boiled leather shoe.
God,
Delicious.
I love it. He also once walked from Munich to Paris, believing that the act and his intention would keep his mentor, Lotte Eisner, alive during a time when she was extremely sick. For the record, she didn't die.
Huh. Yeah. So, ergo, magic is real.
Yeah. It just stands to reason.
Yep.
In a lot of ways, he's like David Lynch, except, a lot more German. He sees depth and meaning in everything, and it's a beautiful way to look at the world and navigate through it, if you ask me.
It is. Have you ever seen his, that, I can't remember who he did it for. It might have been BMW or something, that short film From 1 Second to the Next?
No. Was that part of the series where BMW is having like film directors make ads in the style of the directors? Like John Woo did one, and
maybe it was like it's a short film about like the importance of wearing your seatbelt and not drinking and texting and driving. It is probably one of the most horrifying, haunting things I've ever seen in my life.
It
is absolutely
fantastic.
shocking.
Yeah.
Because he interviews people who were in car accidents from texting and driving. And one of them is a father who his daughter, she was right near the house, and it's this horrific accident. And I think the girl, I don't know if she died or not, but I was very, very broken up because she hit a dog, and the dog did die, and it was fucking terrible. I hated it so much. It is a very upsetting film. So leave it to this very thoughtful man to make a bizarre don't text and drive documentary.
Yep. He also recently showed up in a TV show that kind of blew my mind. I did not expect to see him in The Mandalorian for the Star Wars TV show. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and he's great. I love it. He's fantastic in that.
Where he cursed the crew for cowards when they were shooting both live action with a puppet and also wanting to do some scenes in CG. And he yelled at them and called them cowards for not sticking with the CG, with the puppet version of Grogu.
That's crazy because that puppet was super sophisticated.
So well done. I had to, so I'll get real name droppy, right? I'm going to be total movie industry douchebag right now. Werner Herzog, I've had the pleasure of meeting on several occasions. He was our Coolidge Award recipient. And I should be able to remember the year, but not too long ago, he was here to receive our annual award. And then there was a conversation that he and I did via Zoom during the pandemic where whatever PR team was overseeing the conversation was mortified that I started asking him about the Mandalorian and his baby Grogu story.
Of all the things you could talk to Werner Herzog about, you talk about Star Wars.
We went with Star Wars, and he went off on it and reiterated that he thought that Jon Favreau was a fucking wimp. Sorry, can we curse on this thing?
Oh yeah, we swear like crazy.
Werner Herzog was calling Favreau a wimp for wanting to double shoot scenes and prepare for a possible CGI Baby Yoda. So that was fun. He's a real character. And when we had him here, he was an absolute gentleman and a wonderful guest. He called the Coolidge. He referred to us as, what did he call us? He called us like, the soldiers of cinema, and that we were the last fortress defending film.
This sounds definitely in keeping with his character.
Do you think he talks to his wife like that? Just like randomly, like the people at the grocery store?
Yeah, it's not a bit. Like this is who he is.
Beautiful.
My favorite answer that he gave the moderator when he was on our stage here was that he didn't like being included in Time Magazine's 100 influential directors working today. He was sort of offended by that, and our moderator asked him what list would he like to be a part of, and his answer was that he would have liked to have been one of the 300 Spartans at Thermopylae defending against the invading Persian horde.
Oh, God.
That's the type of list that he wanted to be on, and it was just the most perfect Herzogian answer.
I love that everything he says and does is in earnest. Like that is an admirable quality.
It's not a bit. He's legitimate.
So since the late 60s, he's made dozens of movies, mostly documentaries. Here in 1979, he's in the middle of ostensibly his most creatively fertile period, working with his arch-frenemy, Klaus Kinski. Oof. So speaking of Kinski, a truly magnificent legacy of acting and performance marred by a lot of verifiably terrible behavior.
Yeah, he is an awful, awful person.
Not a great human being.
Some unverified but probably true stuff that's even worse. Kinski sounded like a Patrick Bateman grade psychopath who tamed his murderous urges by terrorizing everyone he ever worked with on countless movies and plays. Beginning with 1972's Agira, The Wrath of God, Kinski finds terrifying chemistry in working with Herzog that produced some seriously great movies. This movie among them.
Do you know the story behind Agira, the filming of it, and how they all almost died?
Well, yeah, they went up with this like what was it, like cast of thousands with a crew of like 8 people. And,
it was a couple hundred people on that airplane, and all of them died.
He was almost on. Yeah, he was in that one that was coming out of, was it Buenos Aires, that like crashed and like there was one survivor.
Yep, she fell like, I don't know, I think it was something like 1,800 feet from in the air to the ground and lived, and then walked out of the jungle. Through the Amazon, and he was supposed to be on that plane, and it was only because I think one of them was late or something like that. They got bumped off the plane, so they were like, fuck it, we'll just wait for whatever.
Yeah, it was
like
a real Final Destination moment. I have heard about this. It sounds like he was haunted by this with like survivor's guilt.
Yeah, so they go. He made that documentary, Wings of Hope. What it's called, I think. They go back, he and a film crew, and with this girl, Julianne Kopke is her name. or Kopecky, maybe. I don't know how you pronounce it. I think it's maybe Kopecky. She's also German. And they go back and they like find pieces of the plane just in the middle of the fucking jungle still. Cause you can't really get in there.
Oh no, like a bomber crashed like 10 miles from my house. Like in the 1950s, there's still parts of the fuselage out in that swamp.
Let's go out there and get it. Salvage law. It's mine.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a fucking wild story. So they go back and it's strange the way, I don't know, they're both German. So maybe it's a cultural thing, but like, she's very matter of fact about it, and it doesn't seem to occur to him, maybe because it's 1980, whatever, that like you are having this woman relive what was an absolute nightmare.
Probably the worst
The absolute worst thing that could happen to you. Like her, I think her mother was with her, maybe.
I can't remember the details.
Yeah, her mother was with her, and her mother died. Obviously, everybody else died too. It's just like she's like eating candy, and that was all she had. Like her fucking collarbone is broken in half, and she's like, at one point, she's like, the best she can do is just float down the Amazon like on a log while there's just crocodiles all around her and shit. What a life!
Oh my God!
But hey. Could have been worse. You could have killed Werner Herzog.
Yeah, I know. The production stories with Kinski and Herzog are peppered with apocryphal tales. Some of these stories are so crazy that they cannot possibly be true. I'm gonna tell them anyways because I think they're kind of funny. But all of these productions are like underscored with stories of either Kinski trying to murder Herzog or Herzog trying to murder Kinski. And there, as far as I'm concerned, there's got to be a better way to make a movie.
Yeah, I would assume so. What I always wondered about him, like, because he's, I watched the my best fiend and all that. Like, you hear the stories about Klaus Kinski. Like, the man was a good actor. There's no denying that. But like, was he so good that people were willing to put up with this fucking terrible behavior? Because this is really, really bad.
Oh, it's kind of like Marlon Brando that way. Like he just carried this like reputation with him that allowed him to just be a nuisance to every production, like well into the 90s.
Yeah, but he was just an asshole. Klaus Kinski was like physically violent.
Was actually dangerous. Yeah. I don't know if it's worth it.
He was a big star. People were willing to put up with it. Over in Europe, insane. he was huge. So yeah, this is like, they were looking the other way because he was supposedly that talented.
Oh, yeah. So Herzog wanted a particular performance out of Kinski for this role. In his mind, Dracula is a sort of bent and broken old monster who is more sad than evil. And Kinski wanted something with a little more verve. So to get the monster he needed out of him, Herzog would provoke Kinski until he threw one of his massive tantrums. And then when he came down, he would be too exhausted to the point that the only performance he could give is the one in the movie. And I think that is genius. I have no idea if it's true, but that is inspired madness.
Well, here's a tip, everybody listening. If ever someone behaves this way and they have a big old tantrum and then are sulking for the next, 12 hours or whatever, and they're an adult person, that person has a personality disorder. Get away from them as far and as fast as you can.
We've also got Isabella Gianni, who horror movie fans seem to be in a perpetual cycle of rediscovery with every time Possession ends up streaming on Shudder.
Isabella Gianni doing the absolute least in this movie.
I don't know. Like, I think that
I never know what to make of her in anything.
I think the thing with her for me is the very first movie with her in it that I can remember seeing is Possession. And that performance is so fucking intense that it is permanently kind of burned into my consciousness, so that whenever I see her, that is the first thing that comes to mind is the subway freakout and all of those like super intense scenes with Sam Neill where they're like where the camera couldn't possibly get any closer to the two of them, just like on the edge like that.
When I think of that movie, I think of Sam Neill fucking that other guy, but
right. She broke through in the title role for Francois Truffaut in The Story of Adele H. and followed it up with the lead in The Tenant, the 1976 film by sexual assault enthusiast Roman Polanski, based on the
child predator Roman Polanski.
Based on the novel by her co-star in this movie, Roland Topor. She has, unfortunately, on several occasions, voiced her support for Polanski in the face of rape and sexual assault allegations that continue to pile up as the years go by. In spite of this, she's pretty intense and a particularly logical addition to this absolute circus of a cast. The role of Lucy was originally offered to Sylvia Kristel of Emmanuelle fame, but she backed the fuck out as soon as she heard that she would be acting opposite Klaus Kinski.
Yeah. I get it. I don't understand why people were like, well, he is very talented, so everyone's safety and health should be put at risk for this man.
Mentioned Adele H. Supposedly Herzog, he claims that Isabella Gianni first came to his attention not from him watching Adele H, but from him seeing the poster. He saw her on the poster for it and said, "That's who I want."
That again, like that seems very consistent with his character. Like I can see him just like because she does have a striking appearance, you know.
But you know what? That's also an extremely European film story. Like that girl, that face, get me that girl.
Yes. Yeah.
Rounding out our cast is Bruno Ganz, immortalized in the minds of people the world around thanks to the dozens of Hitler finds out memes. Between Herzog and Wim Wenders, he's ostensibly the most accomplished of the primary cast in terms of the 70s German New Wave. In the 70s, he rose to international acclaim, explaining the concept of cloning to the English-speaking audiences in The Boys from Brazil. Ganz died in 2019, leaving behind a significant legacy beyond just that Hitler performance that was great for outrageous comedies, appearing in more recent fare like The Baader Meinhof Complex about the Red Army faction, and Lars von Trier's The House That Jack Built. Yep. We got a couple of taglines here.
Really?
Not really, actually.
I don't think so. I don't think this movie actually has a tagline.
No, and I searched like crazy to find posters that had taglines. This is just not the sort of movie to bear any sort of salacious taglines, but IMDb lists.
I think it only has one poster.
There's just the one poster, yeah.
And when you got a good one that's that good, you don't need
They must have appeared on like video boxes in other countries because one of them is, I don't know what movie they're
fucking
about.
Stupid. They're all real bad.
I'm including them here. Given the contents of this artsy-fartsy vampire movie, I think they're pretty funny. So we've got Nosferatu, he who is doomed to wander alone in darkness. Nosferatu, he who is condemned to destroy even those whom he loves. Nosferatu, a tale of seduction and the dark night of the soul.
It's a little clunky, I'm not going to lie.
Clunky. It's a little long. Too many words. And here's a great one. It's fear and fun. It's a scream of horror and a cry of delight. It is Nosferatu the Vampire.
Yeah, that's the one on the poster. Yeah.
I guarantee Herzog wrote that one himself.
Fear and fun.
Yeah, I definitely watch this movie and go, this is a fun movie. It really is. It's a good time.
This flick opens with actual corpses.
Yep.
And we're talking fun.
I mean, I guess there's a couple moments where I chuckled a little bit to myself.
Okay, so this movie does have moments of arch about it, and I
but that's what it is. It's
that.
Not slapstick comedy. It's moments where you're like, this is so awkward that I don't know what else to do but laugh.
Yeah. My favorite piece of trivia from researching this episode is this. I've never known this. The name Transylvania means beyond the forest, which is some black metal shit.
Yep.
I love that. And even though this is Nosferatu, it is nominally a remake of the 1922 FW Murnau movie. Dracula entered the public domain in the United States in the 60s and I think in Europe in the 70s. So
it was when they made this movie. It was like while they were making
around
the
there,
movie.
like 78 or 79. And so he just restored the names to make it a proper Dracula movie.
Which I think makes this a really interesting story beyond just the fact that I think what he does with the Dracula story is pretty interesting. I think it's interesting that he is merging them in a strange way that I think is unique, original. I like it.
So, he intended to shoot this movie's Transylvania scenes actually in Transylvania. But at the time, Transylvania was behind the Iron Curtain, and Romania was under the notoriously brutal regime of Nicolae Ceausescu, who was well aware of Western comparisons to Vlad the Impaler. It's tough to be a dictator, I guess.
I will say, in Vlad the Impaler's defense, coming to the defense of Vlad Tepes, if I will.
He was misunderstood, I think.
He was not misunderstood. He is considered a folk hero.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, he defeated the Turks, man.
Yeah. I mean, hey, he was just on the other side. That's all. And, sometimes you got to go to extremes to prove your point.
Yeah, Herzog also wanted to shoot in Wismar, Germany, where Murnau shot his movie, but that was also behind the Iron Curtain. The fucking Cold War, man. Yep. And we've got an awesome score here by the krautrock band Popol Vuh.
At first, I had never paid much attention to the score.
It's so subtle. It's so understated.
Person, and I had never given this one much of a shot, and so I was paying particularly close attention. And at first, I was like, I don't know if this works that well. And then within like 15 minutes, I'm like, no, this fucking works incredibly well.
Yeah, it's really.
Yeah.
It's thoughtful, but it's very subtle. But when it hits, it really hits because it's got this weird kind of jangly folk pop thing that's happening, but they're also kind of like they're really pulling from traditional music in a way that there was kind of I'm going to say early 2000s, like a kind of a Brooklyn music scene where a lot of this shit, like Devendra Banhart and shit like that,
Yeah.
where it was just it all kind of reminded me of that a little bit. It's good. I really like it a lot.
Yeah, because it's a good mix too, which is really kind of in keeping with sort of like the whole krautrock thing, which is kind of like droney and and this one it shifts between those sort of like choral drones, and then at a certain point somebody busts out an acoustic guitar and just riffs along with the drone. It's fantastic. I fucking love it. What were the press reactions to this movie?
Well, the press was pretty much universally in love with this film. Almost everybody. I'm going to hit you with some.
Okay.
I'm going to start with my newspaper of record, the Boston Globe.
The old gray lady.
That's not the Boston Globe. Oh,
they're all gray ladies to me.
This may as well be. The old green lady. Anyway, this is Bruce McCabe. Nosferatu is inspired less by the Bram Stoker novel of almost a century ago than by the silent classic of FW Murnau. It's a descent into a dark, misty, murky limbo, a limbo that had been suppressed beneath the veneer of a genteel but desiccated society. When Kinski's Dracula appears, you're not sure whether to laugh or gasp. It's remarkable how quickly and easily you assimilate him into your consciousness of character. Eventually, he seems like any other tormented mortal man.
Okay. I'm on board with that.
He's
also, I use the word liminal more than a couple of times in my notes for this movie. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to tell you this. He used the word desiccated and spelled it wrong, and it drives me crazy.
You should write him a letter.
Professional, sir. He's probably dead. Anyway,
took that error to his grave.
Well, that's what did it. That's what did him in. Here we got my boy Vinnie Canby.
Good.
From the real old great lady, the New York Times. Here is an almost gentle evocation of F.W. Murnau's 1922 silent film classic. Mr. Herzog has done what he set out to do, but when you come right down to it, one wonders if it's worth the trouble. Dracula, after all, is not Hamlet or Othello or Macbeth. Dracula is Santa Claus turned mean. He's a fairy tale character. Though he represents something vestigially scary, he's not endlessly interesting. Having expressed these reservations, I must go on to report that Mr. Herzog's film seems well worth the effort to me. I agree with this review quite a lot, actually. It resonates with me because essentially what Candy's review is a little bit long, but what he's saying and where he's going with this is that the story of Dracula is not a particularly interesting one. It's interesting, in as much as there wasn't anything like it before that, but it's been rehashed so many times, and there's not much you can do with it beyond what it is. Because it's a fantasy. It's not; these aren't like actual human people. They're just he's a monster, and that's about the beginning and the end of it. But he and I, for that matter, appreciate the way that Herzog kind of takes it and does something different with it by almost transforming the character of Dracula into a human in a way that allows for him to then sort of be a little more fanciful, but also sort of metaphorical with his story.
Yeah. I mean, that is Herzog's spin on this ultimately, because he is playing a little loosey-goosey with plot details, mostly unimportant plot details.
Yeah,
But,
and I mean, I think that's sort of one of the sort of where Canby is going in his review is that none of that shit really matters when it comes down to it. Like what he's gonna do with this is something very different and very new. Because let's be honest, Herzog's whole motivation, I think, for making this movie is almost entirely aesthetic. This is an extremely visual story. You could watch The German and take everything away.
That kind of brings us back to what Mark was saying up top about the parallels between Eggers and Herzog, because
and
I think our largest complaint about the 2025 Nosferatu is it's all aesthetic.
Yes, and I will say I think Eggers' film is almost a 1-to-1. I think it's a beautiful looking movie. I think it looks great. I think it sounds great. I think that where Herzog succeeds is that he is very good at using restraint. He knows exactly when and where to use it. I don't think Eggers knows where to use restraint. I think he indulges a lot of fandom too often.
Yeah.
They're both filmmakers that exercise this like ultimate control over what is in front of the camera. Eggers, we've heard the stories about how, even the hammers and the nails that are used on his set. Very specific.
To which I say, get the fuck out of here. What's time for that?
I know. I don't want to give it away for free. But yeah, ultimately, a lot of our complaints about that movie is Eggers, and I think it's why I don't really care for his movies at all, is because he sweats the details in such a way that I just do not give a shit about.
Well, Herzog does too, but in a way that maybe we care about a little bit more. He was very deliberate in how he wanted Nosferatu to look. He wanted everything from color palettes to he wanted this very muted sense of color in the film, as well as performance from everybody. He wanted everybody kind of sleepy and moving slowly.
Oh yeah, this movie's primary color is gray.
Yeah, gray and pastel. It is a very deliberate choice. Oh gosh, I had another point that I wanted to make. We should move on to something else though, because I'm not going to remember it.
Okay. You got any more?
I do. I've got two more that I think you will appreciate. The first one is from the Gene Janey himself.
Oh, good.
Not surprisingly, he liked this movie.
Okay.
So Gene Siskel, Chicago Tribune. Now, you might be thinking, who wants to see another Dracula picture? This summer, we had a rash of vampire films, and you can add those pictures to the 70s Christopher Lee films in which the power and sexual sadism of Dracula are emphasized. Oh, God.
I know, Gene, he just can't resist.
Come on, man, let it go. But Nosferatu is not at all like those pictures. Made in full color with sound and on a reasonably big budget, Herzog's film has more realistic quality. It's as though we've entered Dracula's home for a couple of evenings and are sitting at the dinner table with him. Count Dracula is a man, a sick man who, sadly, must be destroyed.
All right.
He enjoys this film. And he's getting at the thing I think that everybody sort of keys in on, and that is, this is a story that's not about a monster. Or if it is, it's about a sort of sad, aged monster, a wizened monster. And finally, the Jane Janey's counterpart. Here we go. Roger Ebert, Chicago Sun-Times. Sit through Nosferatu twice or 3 times. Cleanse yourself of the expectation that things will happen. Get with the flow. This movie works like an LP record. You can't love the music until you've heard the words. So often they're sounds. It's in German with English subtitles. It would be just fine with no subtitles, dubbed into an unknown tongue. The need to know what Dracula is saying at any given moment is a bourgeois affectation.
Oh, shit.
Dracula is always saying, I am speaking with you now as a meaningless courtesy in preface to the unspeakable event that we both know is going to take place between us sooner rather than later.
Roger.
Now here's the thing.
My God, man.
Roger Ebert was a good writer.
I love that review.
I think Roger Ebert was a fucking hack critic, and I can't stand it.
I know.
But he was a good writer.
We have a stated beef with both of these critics on this very podcast, and right here I stand in praise of Roger Ebert. That is a hell of a review. I love that because I'm honestly, it says it all. Like he gets his point across in such a way, and also says this movie fucking ruled.
Yep. Yeah. And again, he's saying exactly what I was just saying, is that this is a very visual film. You don't really need dialogue. And there is dialogue in it. It's kind of like, it's meaningless, most of it. It's just sort of there to fill space, but you don't need it because the story sort of tells itself.
Yeah.
And I think it's really pretty amazing. My one, I don't know if it's a gripe, I guess, is that, as we said when we talked about the Eggers version, which again, it's hard to reference something that is not out yet, but it will be soon.
Yeah, let this. We're giving you a taste, giving you a tease. You got a free month of Patreon coming up. Make the Eggers.
That's right.
So year.
Dracula is a very gay story. It was intended to be, and it drove the poor man back into the closet after he made it. Wrote it anyway. And so, and Murnau is also a gay man who made a movie that I don't know that I would say his was queer. A little bit maybe, but it's also 1922. So, for whatever that's worth. I think this was an opportunity for them to kind of do something with that aspect of the story, and he doesn't.
Oh yeah, there is a sexuality about this movie, but it is so muted. Yeah. And it's almost like it's just there because it's kind of like a piece of the story that you can't really work around, but he is not interested in addressing it.
Yeah, and I think in either direction, he's not interested in the sexual aspect of it, gay or straight. Yeah. But I do think this is 1979. This is sort of the this is cutting edge cinema. This is the new wave. This was an opportunity to do something with that part of it, and he just sort of sidesteps it. And, whatever, it's his movie, and if he's not interested in it, he's not. But, like, that is a huge component of the movie,
honestly,
of the story, anyway.
He's telling a different story. It's just not a part of his agenda,
Here's how, so Herzog has, yes, I think that, I don't know if that he was disinterested or that he just doesn't see it. Here is how horrible his gaydar is, if I can use that fucking term. He came into this office and saw that we have a couple of John Waters posters displayed prominently, and he very proudly told a story about how he had seen all of John's films and loved them very much. And then upon meeting John Waters for the first time, he was incredibly surprised. And he turned to his partner, whoever he was with, and said, "My God, John is gay."
Okay, no. Werner Herzog's fucking with you.
I wanted to believe that because it was such a, I couldn't hold my tongue. I said, "Werner, how could you not understand that the person who made those films, might have been gay?" And he just flat out said, "This is of no interest to me whatsoever. I do not care what a man does. The sexuality does not come into play when discussing artistry."
Which is a fucking insane thing to
Isn't
say.
it?
Talking about John Waters movies.
I can kind of believe this because, like, he is a guy who is so preoccupied with esotericism.
Well, he's also like super macho. He really is like sort of a.
Okay, that part I have a hard time believing, but okay.
Oh, Werner?
Yeah.
No, I get it.
Oh no,
yeah.
Werner is very much into. What the fuck is the title of his newest book? It's like, oh fuck, it's like man versus God, and I don't know. It's like it's like kill them all and let God sort them out.
Oh my God.
I mean, look, he's a German man of a certain age, so I kind of get it. But I do think I have a huge problem with someone being like, his sexuality has nothing to do with his films. It's like his sexuality has absolutely everything to do with his films. And so it's kind of a crazy thing to say.
It was a crazy thing to say. And then a couple years later, we had John Waters standing here, and I got to tell him that story, and he was like, "Werner's full of shit."
You know what? I'm with John Waters on this one. I think Werner's full of shit. I think he knew that and maybe just didn't want to talk about it because it made him uncomfortable.
He was so animated in telling this. Like the first time I met him, I turned to my friends and said, "My God, this man is gay. I had no idea that he could have been gay. There was nothing in his, and I saw nothing in his films that could have possibly told me." And it's like, what did he?
Did he think Divine was a woman?
Right? Like, come on, what do you mean? Which films?
Well, he is German after all.
Which movies did you watch? The title of his newest book is Every Man for Himself and
Jesus.
and God Against All.
Oh, Jesus.
So, like,
My God,
Christ.
he is dangerously close to Jordan Peterson territory there.
I mean, his heart is in the right place on this stuff. It's just he has this very sort of antiquated machismo, obviously, that he carries into making all of these movies. I mean, there's stories from the set of Nosferatu. But there's a story from Nosferatu where Kinski, who notoriously could not swim, had to do some work in the ocean. And the only way that Herzog could convince him to do it was that he said, I'll be right behind you. I will jump in behind you and save you if anything goes awry. And sure enough, shit went awry, and the boat and the two of them drifted like 30 minutes off course, and they almost drowned while making this movie. Herzog is constantly putting himself in these dangerous, life-threatening situations. Like there's a certain mentality that goes into that. Like this man against nature. I can beat it. I mean, it was in there's a great, like, I think it's a British Film Institute story from 1980 maybe, where people that were a woman who was on the set of Nosferatu is retelling stories from the production. And she mentions that on a day where it was particularly cold and everyone was so tired and wanting to stop shooting, but they only had so much time to get these shots that they needed, that in defiance of the cold, Herzog like tore off his top and was naked except for the pair of jeans he was wearing while he continued, getting the whatever shot it was that he needed to get. So
Yeah, that'll show him. That'll show the weather.
yeah,
I hate learning shit like that. I mean, I love learning shit like this, but also, like, I always feel like it's such a slippery slope because, like, the next thing you know, Ingmar Bergman's a Nazi supporter, and you're like, God damn it! I went too far down the rabbit hole again.
Oh, so shall we talk it?
I think we should.
Let's do it. So we open on a handheld montage of mummies. Just mummy after mummy, set to
The
a
mummies
somber...
of Guanajuato.
That's right. He did all this handheld himself at the museum in Guanajuato, Mexico. Lucy Harker is awoken in the night from a terrible nightmare, and I feel like this is either the third or fourth movie in a row where a character has sat bolt upright in bed screaming.
What, you don't do that?
No, actually, I have done that, but
okay. Then you should get it.
A bat flies around in her room. She is joined by her husband, Jonathan, from the adjacent bed, and then he assures her that it was only a nightmare she was having and not some sort of prophetic dream.
But also, there's a bat flying around in your... I would be shitting my pants and screaming.
Here's the thing is I love on Instagram, I love video after video, reel after reel of just fruit bats eating bananas. Mm-hmm. They're adorable. When I see them, then they're like... and they're clutching at their pearls, and there's just this fruit bat climbing around on the drapery. I'm like, listen, he just wants to eat watermelon.
Yeah, it sounds, I believe, as I understand it, they tried to get sort of not trained bats, but like they tried to get bats.
I was like in Jaws when they wanted to get a trained shark. It's
very much like that. Like it was just like, well, you can't really train them. They're not that smart. Yeah. And so they just ended up using like all the scenes of the bats flying and like sort of dramatic. It's pulled from like a nature documentary.
Yeah, because they're all also in the middle at the end of that like mummy montage is just like these really amazing super slow-mo clips of bats in flight. Fucking amazing.
Yeah.
We cut to scenic photography of Wismar, Germany. Some delightful kittens just playing around a locket with Lucy's picture and a lock of her hair.
Yep. Well, and also I was like, as soon as I saw her, I was like, oh, right. She's a fucking Debbie Downer in this one too, isn't she?
I don't think there's a version where Lucy Mina is not a downer.
Well, in the Mexican one, she's pretty lively.
That's right.
So is everybody else for that matter.
In the morning, Jonathan and Lucy have breakfast in their modest flat. Jonathan finishes in a hurry and heads off to work at the business factory. Mm-hmm. His boss, Renfield, who is super suspicious and giddy, has a task for him.
Yeah, he is. So Herzog chose Roland Topor because of his laugh.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's essentially all this man is going to do. And he's going to do it very well.
I guarantee he watched Dwight Fry's performance and was like, I need to have something like that in my movie.
Now, you cannot top, as far as I'm concerned, you cannot top Dwight Fry's performance in any Dracula film. I think it is the greatest moment in, maybe it's a top 10 of all horror for me.
My God, he's gone mad.
But Roland Topor comes pretty close, at least in terms of this character, because he's so weird.
He's incredibly silly.
He's just
and
giggly.
he looks very funny too.
Yeah, well, he's French, okay? So don't make fun of that.
He can't help it. He's French.
But he's like a full-on weirdo from the moment he shows up on screen.
I know, and it makes me wonder if he's always been like this, like, or if this is like a sort of like due to his recent becoming a thrall to Count Dracula. Because why didn't Harker be like, "Hey man, like, you feeling okay?"
So that's the part. So I think that's an invention of Murnau. Like he sort of changed that character, and I don't really know why he did it, but he did. And so that's sort of what he's building on. But it's so strange that he's just like, how about from the very start, as soon as he appears on screen, he is a full-on lunatic. And you're wondering how he got a job in the business of businesses. Because he is basically a giddy animal from beginning to end.
Yeah. The matter at hand is that Count Dracula would like to buy a house in Wismar, and it will require Jonathan to travel to Transylvania to work out the details. If he can pull this off, he'll be able to afford a new place for his nice lady Lucy.
He also says it will cost you a lot of sweat. And my note says, if you know what I mean. Look, if Herzog doesn't have the fucking courage to put it in there, I will. Okay,
you're gonna force it. You're gonna make
going back.
I'm reading between the lines here.
Yeah. So Renfield has arranged for the Count to buy a real dump near Jonathan's place. Mm-hmm. Jonathan has to hit the rookie road today to get it all underway.
But he also, what I love is that he's talking to Renfield like Renfield is not a giggling idiot.
Right.
Like he's just like his ordinary coworker. Just every day. This is a conversation we have every day. It's like the man is very strange at this moment in time. He's also doing like a Peter Lorre kind of thing.
One of the people in the chat the other night, one of our listeners pointed that out as well.
Yeah, and well, he's also I think the only French actor in the movie. I think he's the only
Isabella Gianni is French.
Is she French?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it was like, maybe it was, because I was just like, maybe he didn't really know what to do. Like he didn't really get the vibe. And it sounds like the direction he got from Herzog was like, that character you play on TV, do that. And he was like, okay.
Yeah. So Jonathan heads home to tell Lucy, who does not want him to go. It'll be dangerous. And he's like, poppycock, babe.
Also, I gotta get out of here. You are stifling.
She relents, and then they head out to the German seaside for a little alone time. The German seaside is less than inviting. It is barren and gray, like a trip to Hampton Beach in the winter.
Yeah.
That's a relevant comment to like 3 listeners.
Yeah, it's like when they go to in Daughters of Darkness when they're like, we're going to this beautiful seaside resort. It's like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Thank God everything inside is beautiful.
I know. Together they stand at the edge of the surf, looking out to the ocean, just huddled together in the freezing wind. This has got to be the scene that you were talking about where everybody was just freezing their ass off. Because like they are visibly like frozen. Like her face is like pink and like wind bitten.
Yeah. Is this the same scene where we see the gravestones on the beach?
That's a little later on, but same sort of vibe. She explains to him that she is gripped by a horrible fear. It has no form or name. It's just this terrible dread.
Yeah, she seems fun.
On the way out of town, Jonathan leaves Lucy in the care of his bro and then trots out of town on his trusty steed.
He's like, before he takes off, he saddles his friend with his mentally ill wife. Here, take care of her while I'm gone.
What's really interesting here is these characters have no part in this movie whatsoever.
No.
And they are in like all the other versions of Dracula out there.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm glad he doesn't include them. They're a distraction.
I don't know what they add to it, really.
Nothing.
Montage of shots of Jonathan just riding out of the German countryside to Austro-Hungary and then down into the gnarly depths of Transylvania. It is some fucking beautiful photography. Like it is long, languid scenes, but holy shit, are they amazing to behold.
I think this is where Herzog excels in pretty much everything he ever does. It's like it's these sort of landscape photography and these long scenes.
Yeah. There's like a storytelling language in just sort of letting the landscape speak for itself, you know?
Yeah. Well, there's a scene where Harker is sort of like, I don't know if he's like, it's not a cliff, but he's sort of walking along the edge of this thing that drops off into the water.
Yeah.
And it just in that scene alone, and the sort of as he's walking, it's conveying to you so much about like, the sort of danger of what he's doing, everything that's ahead, and the sort of solitary isolation of it all. It's very impressive that he's able to do this with so simple a shot.
Yeah. When he arrives, he is beset by a crowd of Romani people, and he's like, yeah, get the fuck away from me. And the innkeeper is like, hey, you get the fuck away from him.
And the innkeeper looks like Captain Kangaroo. He's German Captain Kangaroo. He's Herr Kangaroo.
Yeah. Commissar Kangaroo. Inside the inn, Harker is impatient about his food. He's got places to be, places like Castle Dracula. It's a real record scratch moment at the mention.
What I love too about these scenes is that he doesn't bother with any of the translation. There's no subtitles.
No, it's just chatter.
And it's great. And he does it again later. And it's sort of like it reinforces that feeling of isolation, of that like he's sort of a foreigner here and he is very much alone in what he is about to go do.
Yeah, it's very effective.
Everybody shuts up, and the innkeeper is like, you don't want to be walking around up there, dog. Bad stuff happens. Also, no way in hell you're going to find a coach that'll take you there. The innkeeper refers to the castle also in a really strange way that I find super interesting. He calls it the other side, as if it doesn't really exist in this place.
Well, because what he says, what one of the Romani people, the man says is, no such castle exists except maybe in the imagination of men.
Shit.
Every now and then he fucking nails it with this dialogue. Most of the time you're like, it's just incidental, it doesn't matter. But every now and then it's like, what's that now?
Yeah. Yeah. Like going there takes you to some other place where you were just constantly in danger. And yes, Herzog is going to follow up on this.
And that is the scene that I think Eggers does incredibly well, is that, that shot of him sort of walking down this long corridor into.
Oh yeah. When he reaches
wherever.
When he gets to the Borgo Pass, I noticed the same thing too, is because he approaches it with the same sort of language where like Borgo Pass isn't really a place that you can go to. It's this sort of like, a place where two worlds connect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so by night, Harker chills with the Romani by their fire. The dudes chatter away at him in their language, and then the innkeeper, he translates. The Borgo Pass is up that way on the mountain, and it serves as liminal space between here and whatever shadowland it is that Dracula's castle exists in. It
all feels very sort of Alighierian in its way.
And this is what they say, because he's like, there's no castle up on this mountain. There's only a ruin up there. If you do find a castle, you're fucked because it's a land of wind and hungry ghosts, essentially.
And that man is going to lick your neck, by the way. If you're into that, enjoy.
By night, the innkeeper's wife tries to put a cross on Jonathan, gives him a book all about the local legends surrounding the place. It's in the pages that he reads about the vampire. That's all very quaint to him, but still, he tucks the book away into his saddlebags. In the morning, and I love this scene with the coachman. There's a coachman in the village, and Harker tries to get a coachman to take him to Borgo Pass for a handsome fee, but the guy shuts him down. There is no Borgo Pass. I have no coach. I have no horses.
Yeah, he says, can't you see I have no horses? And he's standing there next to his horses. It reminds me of when we used to work at Bull Moose, and I would I would be smoking out front with Jason, who used to work there. And people would always, you smoke outside. People are constantly like, hey, can I have a cigarette? And every time Jason would go, no, sorry, I don't smoke.
It was like,
admittedly, a shitty thing to do. But.
No. Even worse is when remember Jan? She was the one who was always buying the Vince Guaraldi CDs, and it was super, super fucking busy one day. And I saw her coming, and she locked eyes with me and came up, and she started to ask where she could find something, and I just went, no hablo inglés, and just kept walking.
Nice. It's quality customer service. It's a wonder we don't still work there.
Yep. Left with no option, Harker walks out of the town to the castle. Now, more montage of beautiful mountain photography as Harker makes his way up the treacherous mountain pass. Still shots of mountains in the fog, like the covers of early Norwegian black metal records. Castle Dracula is revealed at the top of a mountain, a crumbling ruin that no person could possibly live in. It is a literal ruin. By night, Harker reaches the Borgo Pass, where a coachman looking like something off the cover of a King Diamond record comes along and picks him up to take him the rest of the way to the castle.
You, by any chance, were listening to a lot of black metal when you were writing this? Were you?
The first time I watched this when we were in the channel, like I kept remarking, I'm like, this is like the most black metal movie. It is, it has all of the sort
right
of
down to the ears.
Yeah, like all the visual language, yes, Mortis.
Yep.
So yeah, he arrives as the doors to the castle mysteriously part, revealing in silhouette the dread Count Dracula, monstrous, like the class Max Schreck Count Orlok style vampire.
I think that the way in this early scene, when they're at sort of like when he approaches him and then when they're at the table, I think visually these might be some of my favorite shots in any movie ever.
Oh, Jesus Christ. It's this shot. There's another scene where there's two more in this movie. There's one where Kinski is going to sort of like come sidling up the hallway through the darkness where he's just like a silhouette against, so basically like a blue background, and then he kind of like comes in and just his face is like illuminated. Yeah. And then there's another one a little while later on. I think it's like when he's like creeping around the city. The way that he shoots him, and these are direct references to the Murnau movie.
Yeah.
But these are some of the coolest shots I've ever seen. Like I'm fully in agreement with that.
He does what that shot that Dean Cundy really loves in Halloween, where he comes at her from the back, from the dark of the room, and he just sort of emerges, and all you can see is his face. And it's that he's sort of, I think they're doing the same thing here, where all you can see, because everything is in shadow, all you can see is hands and his head. And it's super effective. It looks creepy as shit.
Yep. He escorts Harker into the castle to his doom and receives him at the head of a table with a waiting meal. Harker hands over the documents, and the Count is like, yes, eat, you fool. His manner is frail and quiet. Also, is it Herzog or was it Kinski who is like a chef? And like he prepared all of the food in the movie.
I don't know.
Yeah, one of them. I'd have to look it up. But yeah, I read that detail, and I was like, that's wild, because this food looks delicious.
I will also say, I think it's weird that Harker is not put off by the fact that his new host has the strangest front teeth anyone's ever seen. It's very much like why his coworker is a babbling idiot, and he just talks to him like he's a normal person.
He's God's perfect idiot.
He really
he just has no sense. Like, oh, his skin is alabaster and his ears are pointed, and those teeth.
Well,
maybe
he's in another country,
That's true.
He's trying to be sensitive to their customs.
Cultural differences,
Go woke, go broke. His manner is frail and quiet. A detail about this movie that has never settled well with me is who the hell wouldn't recoil in abject horror at the sight of this person who is clearly a vampire. Dracula of the Browning variety is quite captivating and charming. Even the original Bram Stoker account, which describes the Count as an extremely decrepit old man at first, is a more normal sight.
Well, yeah, nobody wants to fuck this monster.
The Count makes awkward conversation while looking over the documents. A crazy-ass clock with skulls and a Grim Reaper chimes midnight.
Oh, this is also the scene, the first time I laughed, because there's a moment where he's pouring wine for him, but he is just, like, his eyes are locked on him.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
And it is so awkward.
Doesn't spill a drop.
Nope.
Yep, Harker cuts a little bread for himself and accidentally cuts himself, bleeding in front of Dracula, who insists that he suck the wound clean.
Harker, but that's like that's like what straight dudes do.
Put your fingers in my mouth.
It's just.
Yeah, you think this is a Hellraiser movie?
Look, I've never been to Germany. I don't know how it goes.
Yes, it is the oldest treatment.
Oh, it's so weird.
Yeah, Harker resists, and the Count very suddenly grabs him and sucks the blood. And then he suddenly throws the chair aside and advances on Harker, aggressively backing him into a chair, and insists that they just chill there until morning.
And so that's what I think is so wild, because Kinski, if you see him, he's been in so many schlocky movies that it's sort of like you forget that he is actually a very, very talented actor.
Yeah, but I think I've seen him in more fucking garbage than I've seen him in like what I would say is conventionally good movies.
Yeah, like if you ever seen him in Venom, you're like, oh, well, why did anybody put up with this man ever? But it's in moments like this where he is portraying Dracula as this sort of, he's walking this line between this kind of weird, sad, harmless old thing, and then he becomes wildly dangerous. Like you realize that what he is an animal. Essentially, he's motivated by these sort of animalistic needs. It's the only thing that keeps him going. Yeah. Because when he's not triggered by those things, he's just this kind of like sad, pathetic thing.
You've seen Shadow of the Vampire, right?
We saw it in the theater.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we did see that. Willem Dafoe's performance of Shrek in that is almost like directly taken from this one, where he's kind of frail and bumbling in that one until he's not.
Yeah.
No. So this is a take on Dracula that I like. It's interesting.
I also love the way that both of them, Kinski and Herzog together, managed to capture the aesthetic of silent film in a way that I can't really explain, but it has to do with the shading and the lighting, but also in the movements that Herzog is sort of doing as he's moving through the scene. It all looks like, because it's moving at a slower frame rate, and so he's almost moving a little bit slower as he moves. I can't explain it, but it is really, really interesting.
Yeah, there's a physicality to the performances that feels very deliberate. Back in Wismar, Lucy is awoken by a bat climbing around in her room again. And again, we're supposed to be spooked at the sight of the bat. Shorthand for vampire stuff, but all I see is this little guy just climbing around her drapes, looking for a banana to eat.
You're a very strange person. I would again be screaming and shitting my pants.
Back at Dracula's pad, Harker wakes up in the morning to find a magnificent spread of food to eat. He's looking a little worse for wear, though. When he turns his head, we can see 2 small puncture wounds on his neck. He gets up, takes in the layout. It's dusty up in there, and he appears to be the only other living person. That is, except for this little kid just doing his best to play a little violin down below.
Yeah, and I gotta say, for a bunch of people who are real superstitious about this castle, they seem mighty cavalier about sending off this child to go practice his violin outside this guy's door.
It's daytime. It's safe. You can just hang out.
But you know what? What do I know about Romani culture?
Time passes ominously at the ruins of the castle. Harker finds the door to a crypt, but also finds it locked. Back in
there's something really fascinating too about the way he's shooting everything inside, and it's all dark and it's gray and it's fucking cobwebby, and all that. But outside is life. Like everything is green and lush, and you don't see that in the other obviously you can't see it in Murnau's version, but you don't see it in the Universal adaptations, and you don't really see it in any of the other ones. But like,
like for Coppola, it really leans into the sort of like gothic crumbling castle shit. There's no verdant life in that one.
But like here, you're getting that he's walking through this sort of dead. Everything is dead inside, but outside is this kind of lush life. It's an interesting juxtaposition.
Yeah. Time passes ominously at the ruins of the castle. Harker finds the door to a crypt, but also finds it locked. Back in Wismar, Lucy walks the dreary shores of the German seaside. This is also where we see like a bunch of graves in the surf.
Yeah, this is where she's sitting in the cemetery.
Weird spot to bury a person, Right. But
look, how far do you want to drag a body?
I don't know.
I'd go about 20 feet.
Bodies are heavy.
Yep.
Harker journals since he can't get any mail out. Bats just chill in the nearby window. And he remarks about how dreamy and weird this castle is. That night, he meets with Dracula again by candlelight. He presents the agreement for Carfax Abbey, or whatever it's called here, and the Count muses about how much he loves the ruin and the darkness. And he mysteriously talks about how old he is, and also, just casually, the horror of undeath. Just want to float that idea. Like, can you imagine not being able to die, sir? And the Count is terribly, terribly sad. He suddenly snatches up Harker's locket, remarking on how lovely the woman's throat is.
Mm-hmm.
Red flags.
And later he
red
comes
flags
to his
that's totally normal. That's something you say.
The Count also determines that traveling overland just takes way too long. He's going to have to take a boat or some shit to get to Wismar sooner.
But before he goes, maybe he'll come to his room one last time.
Right. That night, Harker returns to his chamber, reads the book about vampires again, realizing that everything Dracula has talked about sounds an awful lot like a vampire.
But you shouldn't need the fucking book because the man has 2 giant fangs in front and big pointy ears. He is very obviously dead.
I know. In the night, the Count visits Harker, emerging from the darkness like a ghost. This is one of those like hero shots of the movies. Gnarly shot coming up the hall.
Yep.
And then he recreates one of Murnau's classic shots as Dracula slowly advances on Harker in his room. This is one of those scenes that I think is just super arch because like in silent, you know, in that sort of like sepia toned silent film version, like this feels natural. It's like, it's ridiculous, but it seems contextually appropriate for the movie. But here where there's sound and we're like up close and it's all in color, Kinski moving like Shrek does is silly, you know?
Except there is a menace to him in the moment because of it's again, if Werner Herzog was being honest with himself, he would know what this scene really is, but he's not clearly. So like the way he just sort of hangs there in the moment and he's just kind of hovering over him for this extended period.
Yeah.
It's really, really awkward, but it reads like, oh, these 2 are going to do it. That's what's happening here.
Yeah. Back in Wismar, Lucy gets up in the night, sleepwalks out into the street, and she's snatched up suddenly before she wanders into the nearby canal. When she properly awakens, she finds herself surrounded by her people. She calls out to Jonathan. We smash cut back to the Count just hungrily feeding on Harker. And he seems to hear her call. She's tended to by one Dr. Abraham Van Helsing.
Okay, so this is probably the least fun Van Helsing.
He's a weird twist on the character because like later on she's going to be like, it's a vampire. And like, there's all this vampire shit happening here in the city. And he's like, hey lady, we live in an enlightened age here. Like, why don't you try and catch up?
Let's not jump to conclusions.
Yeah. I mean, again, that's everybody is just like, oh, this very strange looking man has showed up at my house. He's chomping on my neck, but I'm not going to make assumptions about him.
Right. In the morning, Harker wakes up in his bed and charges out into the castle, charges around trying to find anyone and ends up busting into the crypt below. In the darkness, he finds an ornate stone coffin with a broken lid. Moving it, he finds Dracula's lifeless body and recoils in horror.
But like, hey man, you just fucking charged down there. Well, what were you looking for? You know?
Yeah.
Oh, he had some sort of idea, I think. You know, he was starting.
He certainly didn't expect to find Count Dracula in a state of living death.
See, I've been reading this book, I'm getting some new ideas.
Yeah. That night, he watches the Count single-handedly loading coffins into the carriage before climbing into one of them himself. And then the carriage just takes off.
It's such an awesome shot.
It is pretty cool. It's angled very strangely, and yeah. Realizing that he's on his way to Wismar, Harker makes a plan and tears his bed sheets into a rope to climb out the window. Why he doesn't just take the stairs is beyond me, but whatever.
Yeah, because those sheets, not long enough.
He ends up falling to the ground below. In the morning, the kid with the violin wakes him up, but he's way too hurt to go anywhere. Sweet shot of dudes on a riverboat just paddling the cargo of coffins downriver where the schooner awaits to take the coffins around the continent to Germany.
The sailboat.
You dumb bastard. As far as the ship's manifest is concerned, just a bunch of boxes containing dirts and rats.
All right, should we talk about the rats? Because that's probably the most disappointing thing about this entire movie.
I know. Yeah, I guess it was. I have like 0 notes about it, but I knew it was going to come up. Animal abuse takes many forms.
Yeah.
And, these rats were horribly treated. He wanted them in a particular color, and they only had white rats, and they had to be dyed. But first, they had to be boiled.
Now, look, I'm no scientist, but I've dyed my hair a couple times when I had hair. I don't remember having to boil my head before I did it, though.
Well, listen, babies, drop a lewd and boil your hair. Maybe that's what she meant in New Year's Evil.
But I don't understand why they had to boil these rats. It ended up killing like half of them. And then the other half, like another quarter of them ended up dying. The guy they hired, I think it was a guy.
Yeah, there was a dude who was basically like an animal behavioral specialist who came in and was just like horrified because they were undernourished and were starting to eat one another.
Yeah. So I don't care for that.
Nah.
So the rats posed huge issues for him. Like, not to go back into production stuff, but they were in Delft, Holland, where they shot a lot of this, and the town did not want the production because of the rats.
Yeah, that's another thing that that really strikes me as interesting, that anybody like outside, shooting on location with literally thousands of rats is train them all you want. Those things are notoriously crafty. They're gonna get out. They're gonna infest the city. They reproduce like crazy.
Yeah, look, I live in Cambridge. I know from rats. Okay,
yeah, this movie comes to your town and like leaves you infested with rats.
They never actually got the permission to release the rats. They just did it to get their shots. It was like the city council was arguing about it for months. Local film enthusiasts and younger people in Holland were putting on like Herzog retrospectives to like show the powers that be that like this is a reputable filmmaker. Herzog himself made the case before the town council that what he was trying to do was bridge the gap between the Murnau Nosferatu being this pinnacle of German expressionism to like the new German cinema movement that was going on, and how important this film was going to be. And they still said, you cannot release rats. Into our
and rats are a significant part of the plot of this story. And yet no version of this movie up to this point has ever tried to actually portray the sort of rat infestation because of the practical difficulties that come with doing such a thing on a film set.
Well, yeah. I mean, you could tell me all the fancy film talk you want. I'd still be like, hey man, that's a hard no on the rats, buddy. You are not releasing thousands of rats into the town.
In both of the Universal Draculas, like they leave it up to Renfield to sort of, illustrate through language that there's a sudden rat problem,
right?
And that's all. And then they just leave it there, Ballsy move. Too bad about them rats, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Harker now is waking up in a hospital sick and feverish. He begs the Mother Superior to stop the coffins, but it's just too late. They're well on their way to Germany. And then Lucy.
So did you see the Netflix, the newest Netflix version of this? It's real fucking bad. It came out like, I don't know.
Oh no! The BBC one.
Yeah,
I did. I liked it. I thought it was all right.
The one where it's like the Mother Superior is like a fucking badass vampire slayer.
Oh well, until Dracula gets into the monastery and murders them all. But yeah, I did like that. I do like that idea.
So that's like the one adaptation that actually spends any amount of time on this part of the story.
Yeah,
because this is also the part of the story where she's like, "Say, anything sexy happened while you were there?" And then that's where he tells her what happened.
Yeah.
And that's the only time that they've ever actually addressed it.
Yep. Lucy watches the sea from her bench beside some seaside graves, just Sylvia Plathing the place up.
Yep.
Meanwhile, things for Renfield have gone verifiably sideways. He keeps a box full of buzzing flies in the asylum, and then he attacks an orderly and is placed in a straitjacket, just giggling the whole time.
Mm-hmm. He's fun. That's stuff fun.
I like him a little later on where he's he's got japes. He's got tricks.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah. Back in Transylvania, the Mother Superior tries to stop Harker from leaving, but he can't just hang out and wait. He looks like shit and hits the road regardless of his condition. And then out at sea, things aren't going well for the Demeter or the Vestal or whatever they call it in this movie. The ship's crew are starting to die off, and some of them have just vanished. And
man, you're on a boat. You can't just vanish on a boat.
Okay,
there's nowhere to go.
This is one of my favorite details of the story. Is there is something. It is such a simple plot detail, but the fact that it is not a big boat at all. It's not a huge ship. It's a small sailing vessel, and the crew is terrified. Some of them are just disappearing in the night. There are rumors stirring that there's a stranger on the ship. Like I can understand. I never saw that movie, The Last Voyage of the Demeter, but I can understand why somebody was possessed to make a movie about just this voyage. Because it's an interesting and largely unexplored part of the story, you know?
I think probably because, I think we talked about this in the Eggers one too, is like, it's arguably would be probably the most violent part of the story, which is, I imagine why they initially maybe left lots of it out, is because these are people that are just getting slaughtered one after another on the boat. You can't really show that in 1930, 1922 or whatever. In 1979, you could, but that's not the movie he's making. It is the movie that Eggers is making, and he still doesn't do it.
Right.
So it feels like sort of a missed opportunity to like explore what is probably a pretty cool thing you could have done. You just didn't do it.
Yeah. So Lucy visits Renfield in the asylum, trying to figure out what he knows about her husband, but he simply warns her that the master is coming and he's bringing an army of rats with him. And then they step at him, and he snatches up the newspaper and discovers that the Black Plague has surfaced in Transylvania.
Well, he's bringing an army of rats. It used to be larger. He's bringing half an army of rats at this point.
Out at sea, things are going poorly. The captain lashes himself to the wheel, and the Count rises by night.
Why does he do that?
I don't know.
So
Because it's like
can't get disappeared.
I guess so.
Like
I mean, as ideas go, it's pretty good.
I'm staying right here.
Just gonna make an easy meal for the Count.
Yeah, I'll just fine. I'll kill you right there then.
Yep. Shot of the ship by day, the captain is slumped over the wheel. It's now a ghost ship which drifts to port on its own. And then a bunch of rubberneckers arrive to just check it out.
Yeah, plague boat rolls into town. What are you going to do? Bring the kids.
Bring the kids out.
Some real southern shit right there.
Like a bunch of dummies, they put a plank up to it and check the hold, releasing a wave of rats into the city. Van Helsing looks over the captain's body and declares his death a mystery. They read the ship's log, which warns of the plague, and then everybody suddenly freaks the fuck out at the mention. Rats invade the city by the thousands.
I mean, you have a boat full of dead people who have clearly been drained of blood and half eaten or whatever. It's also full of rats. And they're like, it's not until they read the book that they're like, oh my God, what is wrong with these fucking people?
Worst Van Helsing ever.
Oh God, he is. This is a deliberate choice, and it is a part of the story that I recognize, but I'm not super interested in. And it's this sort of notion that is about to be sort of extrapolated on in the story. And it's just this sort of like the fragility of modern society, and the fact that like everybody's like super bourgeois until it just like the bottom falls out. And like, here's a guy who just denies that there's a problem until it is just looking him straight in the face. And then everything collapses.
It's the American healthcare system right there.
By night, Dracula unloads his cargo of coffins and grave dirt, and then he stashes them around the city, so he always has some place to crash. There's also a really funny scene where he has this sort of like cartoonish recoil at the sight of a cross. Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe an abbey isn't such a great place to stash a coffin for the Prince of Darkness, but what do I know?
Because he sort of like, he like cringes away from it and then like prances out of the room. Nice.
Yeah, Kinski's Dracula prancing is going to be a central feature of his character for the rest of the movie.
Yep.
A coach finally arrives in the city, dropping off a very, very sick Jonathan Harker. He is completely out of his mind at this point and doesn't remember his own wife. He's like, who the hell is this lady? And he pushes her away. And then Lucy passes out, and they struggle to force him into the house.
Yeah, who is the... I don't know her.
Yep.
To quote Mariah Carey.
In the house, Harker complains about the sun and the pain that it causes him. Ooh. And then by night, Dracula makes his way over to the Harker's place and looks in on them, just trying to figure out what's going on. And then later on, as Lucy is getting ready for bed, he just lets himself into a room, just to shadow it first.
And this is the part where his shadow fills the entire, like almost the entire screen.
It's awesome. It's such a simple effect, and it rules.
Yep. But also, this is, so I think this is where I kind of got a little frustrated with Isabella Gianni's performance, because a lot of the time she comes across like she's in another movie. Like she's so, I mean, they're all a little staid in their performances, but she is so flat, except for when she's like passing out.
I don't know. I like this because like she sort of finds, she finds some strength in the face of evil in this moment. And I love it.
I guess
it's really cool. Yep. She's got him pegged right off the bat. They talk about death. She's certain that death is coming, but the Count is like, no, No.
Oh, this is also where she says to Dracula something. They're talking about Harker, and she says, "Since he has been with you, he is ruined."
Yep.
Talk about by erasure. Jeez.
He invites her to be his lady. It'll save Jonathan from a terrible, terrible fate. And then she bravely pulls her hair aside, revealing the cross, and it drives the Count away.
Yeah, she also says something like it will not change, like, the fact that he is now different or whatever. It won't change their love. And it's like, bitch, you just said that he's ruined. Make up your mind.
She can fix him. She can save him.
Oh no.
Out in the city. Out in the city, the people of Wismar are starting to die off in great numbers. An orderly cleans Renfield's cell, and like an idiot, he leaves the door open and just walks out to grab something. And when he comes back, Renfield just outsmarts him and locks him in the cell. Then he wanders out into the city streets, just lined with coffins.
It's a real Dickensian prank.
He's deft. He's swift. You gotta be quick. Can't catch him
He's
slipping.
He's not. He is constantly giggling like a lunatic.
Lucy reads Harker's...
I'm surprised he's not wearing like jingly shoes,
Lucy reads Harker's book about vampires. It outlines a few ways to destroy Dracula. She reads aloud, and in the background, Jonathan seems quite amused. If a woman pure of heart can lure the Count in, she can keep him too horny to realize that the sun is coming up.
No.
Out in the city, Renfield finds Dracula, tries to cuddle up to him, but the Count is like, dude, get the fuck away from me.
I do, but I fucking love this scene because he's essentially acting like an animal. Like he's acting like a cat or something. He keeps rubbing his head against him. And I would like to believe that is just, he was just like, just do some French stuff or whatever. He was just like, okay. And so he's just kind of like rubbing his head all over.
He commands Renfield to head out to another city nearby with the rats, and the plague will follow. He just needs to get rid of this lunatic.
Yeah, he's basically like, just go over there. Just get away, please.
In the daylight, even more people are dying, like shitloads of them. Lucy comes running out looking for help. She wants to talk to the cops, but there are no cops. There's no mayor. Order is failing, and the city is as death takes over. A terrible despondence goes with it.
And so I do like this. This is a little highfalutin, I think, maybe for this story. But this idea that we're all just sort of like a stone's throw from societal collapse into the old ways.
Yeah.
That's what everybody in this movie is essentially representing, is this idea that we're all too sophisticated and too, progressive to believe in these, folklore and fairy tales. Right. And basically like one thing, Dracula sort of represents this one disruption, this COVID, if you will, that sort of comes into town, and all of a sudden they all believe, they're all anti-vaxxers and fucking drinking colloidal silver and like having sex in the streets. And it's an interesting concept. I feel like maybe he doesn't go there too much or too well. He should have leaned into it more.
Yeah.
Because there is this scene in where the town square is just like sort of the bacchanalia at a certain point, and you're kind of like, well, wait, what?
I know this part of the movie reminds me of the book The Powers of Darkness, which is I've mentioned it before. It's the Icelandic translation of Dracula, where like I believe it's longer than Stoker's novel, and like 5/6 of the story is Jonathan Harker at Castle Dracula, and then the last slimmest sliver of the book is just like, and then Dracula goes to London and everybody dies. And then they kill Dracula. And it's like 20 pages of just like, that.
The aristocrats.
So, cause like we are starting, like the story is kind of accelerating here.
Yeah.
Yeah. She brings the vampire book to Van Helsing, who is like, what the hell is this superstitious shit? We live in an enlightened time, Lucy. This vampire stuff is dumb.
Pin in that, Van Helsing.
Yeah. Get over it, lady. And then she begs her to help her destroy Dracula instead of being the dashing vampire hunter of other Dracula stories. He's like, later, babe, and leaves.
Or I don't know if I've ever found him to be a dashing vampire hunter.
No. But I've always seen him. I always think of, when I think of Van Helsing, I always think of Peter Cushing, who is definitely like a man of action,
Yeah, I will say, in those movies, Peter Cushing is dashing.
Yep. She resorts to her only option. She has to take matters into her own hands. Jonathan is just still completely out of his mind. So,
and I think I will say, of everybody, I think Kinski's performance in this is exceptional, but I think Bruno Ganz is also fantastic in this.
Yeah.
Especially towards the end. He plays sort of like normal guy a little too well, but once he starts to go a little crazy is when he really gets to shine, and he's pretty great at it.
Yeah. As night falls, Lucy goes over the rat-infested abbey that Dracula is calling home. She finds the coffin and opens it, revealing no Dracula, only rats. So she breaks up some Eucharist wafers and scatters them on the grave dirt, denying Dracula his coffin.
Out of curiosity, where the fuck she get those?
Just go down to the church and grab them.
Because later on, she's at home and she's just like, let me get these out of my Eucharist box.
I remember years and years ago when my kids were little, the neighborhood, like there were a lot of kids in our neighborhood who were all like right around the same age. And one of our neighbors was like really, really Catholic. And so one night the kids were all watching a movie together, I think in our living room. And I don't know where they got it, but all of a sudden I'm like, what are you guys eating? And they were all eating unconsecrated Eucharist wafers.
I mean, I feel like, you know what? I've got a lot of questions I think that probably don't matter.
You probably just order them online.
Okay, that's the best. You know what? That's good.
That
takes care of that.
I was like, am I in a horror movie right now? What is happening?
Because really, that's just crackers. That's just those are just water crackers at that point.
Yeah. So the city has fallen to madness. Animals wander, just shitting all over the place. Realizing that nothing means anything, the people sing and dance in the town square, partaking of a magnificent feast. Her friend Mina is dead too. 2 bite marks in the neck. And Van Helsing is like, hey, who can say what killed her here? Definitely not a vampire. That's bullshit.
Yep.
So now Lucy kisses Jonathan one last time, scatters more Eucharist wafers at his feet so Dracula can't get him.
She sort of like tucks him into the corner.
Yeah. And then she goes up to her room and readies herself for the vampire. Sure enough, he comes to her room and goes at her. And she resists at first, but then brings him in, directing him to her neck. Sure enough, he takes the bait and eats down, getting so.
And this is almost like shot for shot the end of Murnau's movie.
Yeah, getting so carried away that he doesn't realize that he's been fooled. And the sun rises, and he seems to realize that he's been had. And then she pulls him back to the matter at hand, and he continues until the sun rises over the city. He hears the rooster crowing, and a look comes over his face like, well, shit.
Like, God damn it.
It looks out the window and is destroyed by the rising sun, falling down dead. Finally, after all these centuries.
And there's like, this incredible, like, the brilliant rays of light that are coming through. It's very clearly artificial. I think it's kind of a cool scene.
Yeah. Victorious, Lucy also dies. And then Van Helsing looks her over like, damn, I guess I should have listened to her.
Yeah, that's Lucy's real I told you so moment.
What a cost. The cost.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Yep. He heads downstairs to get a hammer and a stake and then goes up to finally destroy Dracula. Harker weakly tries to stop him, but is blocked by the Jesus crackers. He calls out, and the weirdos outside bust in to arrest Van Helsing. There's nowhere to put him and no one to arrest him, but they're going to do their best.
I do love this. Like, it's this long scene where they're just like, but there aren't any police. Well, then you have to arrest him. How do I arrest him? Well, I don't know. You should arrest him. I don't have any arms. How do I arrest him?
Yeah, and then they take him away, and he's like, all right, come with me, I guess. We'll figure this out. Harker has the cleaning lady sweep up the crumbs, and once the line is broken, he gingerly steps out, revealing monster fingernails and some rat teeth, taking over for the count. Somehow. It's also morning, and I don't really understand how this works.
Yeah, I don't love this part.
Harker hops onto a horse and rides out over a dusty plain, bringing death to another German city. Fade to black, baby.
Yeah, I feel like that ending is it has a sort of roll-on feel to it. Or it's just like, but also this.
Yeah.
And you're like, I didn't need the also that part though.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. It's a beautiful movie.
Gorgeous.
I think it has a lyrical quality that is very unique to Herzog's style. And it's one of my favorite Dracula interpretations.
I will say one of the reviews I didn't read is the one from the LA Times.
Was it Sheila Benson? Did you deny me Sheila Benson?
I would never deny anybody Sheila Benson. She's my girl. No, it's not Sheila Benson. I can't remember who it was, but they essentially say this is not a movie for horror fans. And I will admit, I don't really think this is a horror movie. It's very much a drama. And a fairly artsy one at that. It just sort of has undertones to it.
I don't know how to feel about that because the horror is a central characteristic of the movie. There's no way to really work around it. And though
it's existential,
that in a lot of ways that a lot of sort of like the highfalutin A24 vibe is sort of treated the same way by critics who just want to be like, I really, really liked this horror movie, but I can't tell the public that I liked a horror movie. So I'm going to sort of over explain it in a way that has me coming out smelling like a rose.
Yeah.
Cause I mean, by contrast, like we are a year, like really a year away from the beginning of like the real sort of like horror boom of the 80s when it is a truly just like salacious and sleazy scene.
Great.
Delightful,
great,
wonderful, awesome movies, but critically those people hate those fucking movies.
It's such a Herzog film that I don't know that I've actually put it in too many when programming the film. I don't know that I've plugged it into too many horror programs. I mean, I consider it a horror film, but I see what you're saying, Dave, in that it goes better pairing it with Aguirre, The Wrath of God, and Fitzcarraldo than it does, other films of the genre, the non-Nosferatu, the non-Dracula films. It would be tough to double feature this with like Fright Night.
Oh God, yeah. I would imagine that there's.
You put this with like Hour of the Wolf.
I would show this with Daughters of Darkness.
That's appropriate. Yep.
But I definitely can see the challenge that you might face where it's like, well, what the fuck do I show with this movie? It has all of the characteristics. It's speaking the same language, but yeah, it's also
elevated horror.
But it's also at the same time it's juggling all of those sort of like existential themes that Herzog is really kind of known for.
Yeah.
And it's not trying to scare you either. It's not even, it's not trying to deliver any fright. It's
right.
It's existential dread.
Because like his approach to Dracula in this movie is by design, it's way different. Like Kinski's Dracula is not scary. He's sad. He's trying to kind of make you feel for him a little bit. He's this character that can't die or something like that. I don't know if I could ever buy that, but I see.
I love that characterization. This idea that he's just sort of like this thing that is so tired of existence because he only exists to fulfill sort of animal need.
Right.
He just wants it to be over and it will never be over. And like, even when he dies, he's sort of positioned on the floor as though he's like a dead bug. Like his eyes go completely white and he's just sort of crumpled on the floor, curled up a little bit in the corner.
It definitely explores what is, I think, one of the more unexplored qualities of the original Dracula story is the whole reason for leaving Transylvania is he's squeezed all of the blood and terror.
Yeah, it's a dead scene, man.
out of Transylvania. He needs to go somewhere where there were people where they're kind of modern, but he still, he needs to sort of still exist in this kind of like decrepit shell of Carfax Abbey, but like he can't, there's nothing there anymore. He needs to go somewhere where there is life.
Yeah, he's like a Gen X dad who's just like, well, I'm hip and I'm modern, but in my house, I like to be surrounded by all my toys.
or I'm auditioning for Dracula,
Yeah, I'm a cool dad, all right?
You're cutting too close to the bone there. All right, Mark, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
I am glad that you have firsthand experience with Herzog. It lended a little bit character to the story that I think is really fantastic. These are stories I've never heard of the guy, and I think I'm endlessly fascinated by him. His outlook on basically everything is something that I find truly fascinating. Yeah.
I'll leave you with one more. At
our
award show after party, I had a pack of Nosferatu press photos, like from 1979. And I put them before him and I said, Werner, would you be able to sign one of these for me? And I handed him the folder and he signed one to me and then flipped to the next photo. And I said, oh no, I'm sorry. There's no need to sign the rest of them. And he said, nonsense. I am here. When will you ever have the chance? And I said, okay. And so somewhere in this office, I've got Werner Herzog's name scrawled on all of the different press pictures from Nosferatu. And he made the great point of like, why not have him continue and sign all 8 of them?
That's wild.
Very
That's
nice,
awesome.
very nice guy.
So we do have a good deal of listeners in New England. So what do you got going on over there that would be relevant to?
Oh, I mean, for horror fans, I mean, our September and October lineup just was released digitally. Our film guide will be available at the theater next week. We've got a primetime horror program called Art House of Horror, screening throughout the month in October. These are films like Diabolique, Carnival of Souls, Possession is in there, as well as Werner Herzog's Nosferatu. And then we get more modern with stuff like Under the Skin, A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night, and
Oh shit, that one's so good.
yeah, and The Substance is our closer. That'll be a 7 p.m. primetime repertory series going on throughout the month of October, but our midnights are going to be announced soon. We're doing the classic, tracing the history of the slasher film at our midnight program in October. And then on Friday next week, we'll be announcing our Halloween horror marathon. So everybody should stay tuned and take a look at what we've got going on during the spooky season.
Cool. Where can they find that?
Coolidge.org.
There we go.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Dave.
Yeah. So Dave, with this chapter closed, where are we going to next?
Well, 99-cent rental will be back next week. We are watching The Wraith, an absolutely ridiculous and silly movie that I love very, very much.
It's a good movie.
And then in 2 weeks, Bring Me the Axe will return with one of my favorite 80s films of all time, Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Hell yeah. That's going to be fun. Yeah, we've kicked that can down the road for, I believe, like 2 years. So
yep.
we finally nailed it down. We're doing it. So we hope you enjoyed Nosferatu. We'll see you next week with The Wraith. And then 2 weeks from now, Killer Clowns from Outer Space, baby.